So Carmelo Anthony, Rudy Gay had sat down and spoke about how analytics had affected their careers. And unfortunate for them, they played in an in-between era where in the early 2000s, a lot of players were inspired by the Michael Jordan aura, and they were taking a high level of volume shots at the wing, while at the same time the league was in a phase of its most physical era. And unlike Michael Jordan, a lot of the wing players of the 2000s were not as proficient as far as their scoring, and it did not translate into a good television product for viewers for a full 82-game season. After the San Antonio Spurs had won the championship in 2005, just Manu Ginobili and his Euro step kind of taking the league by storm. We've seen them introduce more freedom of movement. The Steve Nash Phoenix Suns introduced more of a play style that we see today with the run and gun. And eventually in the early and mid 2010s, the league had already began transitioning to the more modern style that we see today with the floor spacing. Multiple guys on the team are shooting proficient from three, and also shooting 40% while taking long mid-range was no longer considered proficient. And that's where guys like Rudy Gay and Carmelo Anthony come into fold. But that's how they normally used to get their games going, by just taking a good amount of volume shots. But they gave their thoughts on analytics and who it's for, and Carmelo also revealed a lot more details on how bad the Daryl Morey Houston Rockets were so analytically driven, and gave very keen details on how they were counting the number of shots from certain areas on the court. You guys check it out, and every once in a while, I'll check in.
I'm a mid-range guy myself, so
Yeah.
you know, I've gone to situations where that wasn't, you know, allowed, but
Don't be vague.
Yeah, like, come on, bring us in.
Bring us in.
Talking about when
How does
and
this
where?
go? And how does this go? Because y'all are obviously the dude all your careers,
Right.
and suddenly somebody's like, "Hey, don't take that shot no more."
I mean,
How they told you?
that's not a good shot.
That's crazy.
If I make it, it's a good shot. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So, I mean, yeah. I mean, okay, we'll be real. Spurs didn't like it. Spurs didn't like it, and Utah didn't like it either. But, you know, we was in the middle of that, like, you know, that whole sway of, like, what's a good shot, what's a bad shot.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Now, let me say this about Rudy Gay. He is almost 2 levels below Carmelo Anthony. And he's one of these rookies that come in the NBA and then they put up 18 to 20 points per game, but that right there is their peak. So whether he was on Memphis, Sacramento, San Antonio, it was all the same. A bunch of volume shots with average percentages, and also his 3-point shot wasn't necessarily that great. He always hovered around 32% from 3. Meanwhile, on the other side of the coin, Carmelo Anthony has shown that he can carry the scoring load ever since he came into the NBA, and it impacted his team on the winning side. So he does have history of it. Melo's issue is that when the league had transitioned to the more spacing and 3-point shooting, in the mid-2010s, he did not adjust his game. Even his peers, Dwayne Wade and LeBron James, started taking more 3-point shots and adjusted to the styles and transition that the league was going through. Meanwhile, Carmelo Anthony was still playing like a guy from the early 2000s, stalling the offense, holding on to the ball too long, a bunch of jab steps, and when his athleticism, particularly his legs, started to go, he became even less proficient, and it started to show.
So,
The currification of basketball.
yeah, it wasn't easy for me to be like, yo, I'm a
word, yeah.
Yo,
Yeah,
trademark
that
that
was dope.
stuff.
It wasn't even easy for me to be like, yo, something I've been doing my whole life, I gotta stop doing it. No, this is what got me here, and that's where, you know, the tension, you know, with certain situations got for me. But I mean, I understand how you feel, but
Especially he's a point guard, right?
being a point guard,
that's
that's
the only
from-
shot you got.
the only shot you got. Then they took out the floater too. Remember?
Yeah.
It was like, so, you know, it limits some people and it opens some people up. I think it made the game more, you know, less competitive.
Ooh,
Less competitive.
Hey, bro, culturally,
culturally.
to your point, that's San Antonio culture, right? Forever.
So is that?
So they've been that. This is what we
Yeah,
talking about.
So Melo right there just says San Antonio culture, but we also got to look at Kawhi Leonard. He was taking a lot of mid-range shots, but he's way more proficient at his shot-making ability than Rudy Gay. So we have to ask ourselves, is it really San Antonio wanting to take away the mid-range, or was it just Rudy Gay not being as proficient?
Culture,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
They've been
Yeah.
threes, free throw, or to the basket.
This is my self-reflection.
No, absolutely. You know what I'm saying is,
No,
my
I
point
understand.
is, you got caught in that culture. You
Yeah,
got
I
caught
agree.
in that.
I agree with you. So
Did you
yeah.
know that going in? Like when you arrived in San Antonio, was that something that crossed
See,
your
I
mind?
just tore my Achilles, so it was bigger than that for me. It was more
Okay.
like a, like a health thing and trying to work myself back into being healthy. But just being a part of it, and there's parts of my game that have grown because of that. Well, did grow because of that. But it did take a lot of what I knew and what got me there out of my game. So it was. I could see how Teague felt a certain way about that. You know what I mean?
So as a player, when they told you that,
Mhm.
right?
Yes, and this was year what in the league?
Yes.
Keep going.
It's like year 11, 12.
Okay, so you've been doing
Yeah,
it.
11, 12. You've been doing it.
Yeah.
So again, just to add more nuance to this is 2017 that they're talking about. This is around the time the league was transitioning and becoming more of the modern style that we see today, coming off the Warriors winning the title in 2015, and then the way they dominated in that 2016 70-plus win season. And that's when the rest of the league was kind of awakened to more of the spacing and three-point shooting that we see today. So it makes sense that Rudy Gay was already starting to struggle, and low-key Melo at that point, his legs already started to give way, and he also started to struggle while making that transition from his last few years being in New York. You could tell by their record, even though their team wasn't as good, just how far at the bottom of the Eastern Conference that they were, even though Melo was still getting his points.
Yeah, 11, 12. You've been doing it,
Yeah.
but now you come back from being injured. All right, you coming back from being injured.
Okay, so
hold up. But is your mindset, because this is for players, was your mindset like, I gotta get to my spots because I gotta get to where I'm comfortable at.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta work on this. Not fuck what everything is, but I know.
Nah, Melo, say what it is. Fuck whatever you thinking. Just say what it is, Melo, because that's the way you treated it. Let's keep it a buck. But at the end of the day, the shots that they were comfortable with was taking those long mid-range twos, just stepping inside of the arc. See, when you have other teams looking for guys who can make three-point shots at a certain percentage, and they're taking a lot more three-point shots, those guys that are stepping into the arc and taking those long mid-range twos, shooting about 40% from the field, that's when we started to see a lot of those blowouts in the mid-2010s. The exact time frame that they're talking about, 2016, 17, 18, 19. You can go back and do your Google searches online, and you can see the number of blowout games, even at halftime. That's how bad this situation got, especially for teams that didn't make this adjustment fast enough.
I know they want corner threes, and I know they want this, but in order for me to feel good personally,
even though it's a team game, Melo, it's all about you. For you to feel good personally, it's a team game, Melo. Come on.
This is my bread and butter.
This is my bread and butter.
Mm-hmm.
But you know how it is when you're in the game. You got to get to your spot. You got to get to where you.
That's why I asked that.
Right. See, the year prior, before I tore my Achilles, I had George Karl. He was the same way.
Yeah.
I just didn't give a fuck. I was gonna do what I was gonna do. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, at least Rudy Gay is keeping it a buck. Melo got to do the same. Melo accidentally just a second ago said how you really feel, but fuck it.
I gotta work on this. Not fuck what everything is, but I know.
I like the energy from Rudy. He's saying exactly what it is.
So like I'm gonna get to me, but going to a different situation, coming off injury, and then having to fit into a different kind of system and culture.
That was the tough part.
That was the tough part.
That was the tough part.
That was the tough part. I couldn't be like, that fuck it button you push in the game, that's what gets you by sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I ain't hitting. You might be
I'm getting to my spot.
Yeah, you might be 2 for 15. Like, fuck it. Now you have a good game. You know what I'm saying? Or you hit that game winning shot. That's that fuck it button. But when you're dealing with outside things, you can't always do that. So that was the biggest thing for me. So like, yeah, for certain players, like you said, like it's who you draft. That necessarily wasn't me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
but they didn't draft you, so
I know. I went there. That's why I said self-reflection.
Absolutely.
So
in their mind, they like,
we can make him do it.
He's older. He's more inclined to doing what we want him to do.
Right.
I think Melo's speaking that from personal experience. That's how they treated him in OKC. Remember, they wanted him to come off the bench. Paul George was having that kind of MVP year. Russell Westbrook was coming off the MVP. Melo was a lot older. So this was a situation that was playing out at OKC. It played out also in Houston. Ironically, this situation did not play out like that in Portland, but it also played out the same way for Carmelo when he went to LA.
Right.
Without us even forcing it on him, right? It's just Rudy, we don't want those. We want, you know what I mean? And because you've been in the game and you're a vet, you're supposed to automatically.
That's what they're bringing you in for.
Yeah.
If you're not a high draft pick,
I'm just going to go. I ain't shoot a corner three in 5 years. A standstill corner three. But you want me to go do that. I'm going to try to do that.
Okay.
Now, if it's uncomfortable, don't force me to do it.
Yeah.
Right?
Melo, again, it's about the leverage. Did you have enough leverage to tell them, hey, don't force me to do it? CP3 is the reason why you got to Houston. Remember, there were no other teams picking you up. The Thunder already basically tried to give you your walking papers. And as far as being in the league, you were pretty much in the outs.
And I think that's the disconnect in this situation. Like, at his point, they told him, that's not a good shot, right? In my situation, no.
For real?
Huh? It's a clip. It's a clip. Preseason, Houston.
I remember that.
This is when they first told me.
Okay.
Now that right there is very interesting. Melo said this is when Houston first told him is when they were screaming out, no. That part, I believe him. Mike D'Antoni is really kind of, I don't want to say passive aggressive, but the way the Rockets kind of operated around that time, they were pleasing James Harden. They were also trying to please CP3, who just showed up. Carmelo Anthony has a big brand, big name, even though he's aging out, and also not adapting fast enough to the new play style. I see them not necessarily coming in and being upfront with him.
That's crazy.
Wait. If we had that,
No,
can we
listen,
please?
It's funny now.
Can you break this down now?
I'm going to break it down to you.
Yeah, okay.
So I get to Houston,
Okay.
and this ain't not always about me. Sometimes I say random shit. I get to Houston. The talk is you the missing piece, right?
Okay.
CP, James, Tuck, Capella. You is to that piece.
Mm-hmm.
I think Eric Gordon was there.
Mm-hmm.
Couple other pieces. Now when we get there, we have like a little mini camp. We go to the Bahamas and have a mini camp,
Sounds good.
right? But we serious in the mini camp in the Bahamas because we know I'm coming here to win. Like, I'm coming here to win. Y'all just had an opportunity. This is why we're here. So we locked in mini camp.
And remember, the Rockets at the time, they were also finishing season after season at the top of the Western Conference, making deep playoff runs. So Melo being factored into this equation, how the Rockets want to play, they have all the leverage. He can't really fight back on it. And plus, it's not like he has other teams knocking on the door trying to pick him up as a free agent.
In mini camp, shit is happening. Get to preseason now. I think we like in Alabama. We about to play Memphis in like Alabama. Some shit like that. In my mind, I'm like, it's preseason. It's first preseason game, man. I just want to let me find the rhythm. Like, let me get my legs. Let me shoot a fade away. Let me turn around. You know what I mean?
Oh, you thought.
Oh, I thought. But because in minicamp, this is what was going on. And now it looks like, oh, this is good. Like, oh, shit, we getting this? Ah, okay. Now we working. We get to preseason.
That's crazy. They let Melo rock him. That's crazy. Yo, Houston let Melo do whatever in training camp, and then they started making an issue during the preseason. This is where the story begins to add up.
And I just feel so good about like coming into this season and like I'm ready. I'm ready to go play for a championship. Man, I get it. Shot fake, 1-2 dribble, pull up, bang. I'm like, oh, okay. Like now I'm ready to play. I'm ready to go this season. They like, no. It's a clip of me laughing, running back down the court, like, yo, my bad. And I caught myself.
I believe it was a preseason game in Brooklyn. For you fellas that want to go back and check out the video, it's out there.
I had to catch myself. And this is where like the ego comes into play. Because I'm like, you want me to take away everything that I built my career off of, my game. This is why people know me. This is why people would want me on a team to bring this right here. Especially with this team. This is what is missing. You missing a post-up guy. You missing somebody who can draw double teams. You missing somebody who can score 4 or 5 different levels. Along with James and CP and Capella.
Yeah.
Like, it was a hell of a situation.
Yeah.
Now, Melo's right. He's right in everything he said, but the only thing he did not factor in is the efficiency clip that he's scoring at. Everything went down. Even him driving to the rim, his legs were no longer there. He was pump faking like a motherfucker. And even that didn't work. Also, the number one factor that was really killing him was he was missing wide open shots. Let's keep it a buck. He was missing open jumpers since he was in OKC.
So for me to come back and practice that week, and they put something on the board that says mid-range shots. They break it down. Oh, shots per game. Certain amount of threes, say 40, 50, 40 threes. Boom. If we have 90 possessions in the game, 40 to 50 threes.
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Free throws.
That's insane.
Right?
That's
Fast
average
breaks.
now.
Right? All of this is like broken down. Like what we
Yeah.
should score on fast breaks per game, what we should score on free throws per game. How we get into these mid-range? 12 or less.
Out of 90?
Listen, just use 80. Just say 80. Say
crazy.
70.
Yeah.
Oh.
I just use 90 because niggas is shooting 80 times. 90 times a day. But say 60 games. I mean 60 possessions.
This is the problem.
Hold on, let me finish. Hold on, Rudy.
Okay,
Hold on.
hold
And
that
this is
thought.
no, because this is the part that people don't understand.
Okay.
Right? When you and they say mid-range shots, 2-pointers, 12 or less. So now I'm sitting there. Okay. They break down the mid-range. Who gets to shoot mid-range? Okay. If it's 12 mid-range shots a game, James don't shoot twos.
Nah.
Right? CP and me is the only one who do mid-range on that team. Tuck don't. Eric Gordon don't. Capella shoot layup. Me and CP play the middle game. So is this 6 and 6? I'm thinking, all right, cool. You gonna say CP, you got 6. Melo, you got 6. Nah, we want CP shooting majority of because he's really effective and efficient. I say, duh. Duh, we want him to get to his right hand. Like, let's get him to his right hand over here. Like, get him to his bread and butter. But what's up with me? Melo, you know, we gonna throw you 1 or 2 down there.
Now, I'm not going to lie. At the time, that does make sense. Melo was not efficient at all at the mid-range. Once again, he was missing wide open mid-range and wide open threes while he was in OKC. And CP3 was way more efficient at the time. And also, this is the issue that NBA legends have with teams that are going by sort of like the Daryl Morey analytics. We're just being so detailed on how many shots they're going to take from which specific areas. In their eyes, those type of teams become way too predictable in the playoffs. See, when you start talking about championship teams and NBA legends that have made multiple deep playoff runs, multiple final appearances, they all say the same thing about that Daryl Morey Rockets team. They were not going to win past a certain level. The way Melo just broke down their shot chart, it sounds great for the regular season. But come playoff time, we're talking about teams that have 6 to 7 players that are all locked in defensively. You can't just pre-plan where you're going to shoot from the floor. The same way they're organizing their shots is the same way other teams are going to figure out what they're doing. The shit doesn't work, and it never will on that level.
Throw me what?
Ooh.
And so, talking about ego now.
Yeah.
I had to really check my ego. I didn't argue it. I accepted it. They told me I was coming off the bench the day of the game.
Damn, I believe him. Fuck. I don't think Melo would have signed with the Rockets had he known that. And the craziest part really is that the Rockets probably wanted him to be the second or third guy coming off the bench. Because again, they really wanted him in a catch and shoot 3 role. And they had other guys coming off the bench that played better defense. And because Melo was on the downhill side of his career, some of them shot even better from 3. in that catch and shoot role. I'm not saying they were necessarily a better player or a better three-point shooter. We just got to look at the dynamics here at play with Melo's decline and him not necessarily being a catch and shoot guy, whether it's from mid-range or from three. So I can only imagine the clash that was about to happen when he found out they really wanted him to be the second or third guy coming out of the bench.
Behind PJ Tucker. And I'm like, you brought me here to play alongside PJ Tucker.
Right.
You got rid of Trevor Ariza, and here's the easy plug-in right here. So why am I coming playing behind PJ Tucker? You really feel that way about me. No shun to PJ, but I come here to play alongside these guys. I never had an idea of coming off the bench behind these guys.
No lie, around that time, I could see them giving Daniel House Jr. more minutes than Melo because he does exactly what they need him to do. And also, from game to game, Eric Gordon. I can see him getting more minutes than Melo. It's not necessarily about the skill set, it's more about the team fit and chemistry. And they were already clicking and doing their thing, finishing at the top of the conference every season before Melo got there and making deep playoff runs.
I come here to play alongside these guys. I never had an idea of coming off the bench behind these guys. And that, they didn't know how to react to that in Houston. They thought I was gonna flip the house up.
I was about to say,
I
was
came in every single day, smiling, joking with the team, playing, working out before practice, after practice, because you ain't really do shit in practice.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, you just running in practice. Running drills, sprints, and run to the corner, shoot a bunch of, you know what I mean? It's like, it's build-ups in practice. So my workout became before and after. So think about the mental aspect of that. You brought me here to win a championship for what I bring to the table.
Mm-hmm.
And then you tell me, don't bring what you bring to the table. We want to win a championship with how we see you at the table.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Now, I can do what you want me to do. I'm not going to be as effective with that, though.
The workout
I
started
can't
to change.
shoot. I can't shoot, come out the gate and shoot. I can't shoot 10 to 13 threes a game.
Let alone catch and shoot. That's an issue for Melo. He's used to just taking a dribble, getting into triple threat, jab step. That's just the overall way he gets into rhythm. Low-key, Paul George is like that too. He doesn't necessarily want to shoot the open shot. He likes that triple threat, take a jab, pump fake, and then take the shot. Nobody passes up more open shots than Paul George. It's like he likes the player being a lot closer. That's just the way he feels out the game. It be like that sometimes.
Without me getting to my bread and butter.
Mm-hmm. Like you need that to warm up
And
to even
what?
be able to
Yeah, that's
shoot from deep. Yeah.
it's easy. That's how you work. That's how you warm up in the workout.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, straight
So
up.
you get into your bag it's progressive.
Can I get back to my thought though?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, that was the mental aspect of that, of what you had to battle and deal with that, as somebody who was in my position at that point in time.
See, this is the problem.
That's when the shit get fucked up.
If you can sit there and jot down how many people getting shots and
Yeah.
where,
That's not.
that's not
It's a
good.
fact.
And no knock on any coach or whatever. That's just, it's a bunch of different coaches that can do that. But the reason we got here is off the field.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And that's my problem with analytics. It's not the fact that, like, yo, you can go on analytics and fact check whatever, but to build a team off of that is crazy to me. Like, yo, you can't tell me, like, if I get hot, I'm gonna shoot.
It's not necessarily crazy to build a team off of that, but it's crazy to think you're gonna build a championship team off of that. I think that's where the missing link is. And another nuance is Mike D'Antoni, when he ran his system, it looked more like the Steve Nash Phoenix Suns, where guys were just utilizing every area on the court. It wasn't just necessarily three-point shooting. You can tell from the way the James Harden era ended in Houston, this was a Daryl Morey analytical-driven team. Almost every single player on that team, right before James Harden got traded and just the whole thing blew up, they had made a lot of comments to the media about the stagnation and just the loss of love that they have for the game due to the style of play. Austin Rivers, PJ Tucker, Eric Gordon, etc., etc. Almost every single player had complained about the style and about Daryl Morey's approach to the game. It wasn't necessarily a Mike D'Antoni issue because he didn't even get fired. He sort of just exited the team. That whole style reached its peak and everyone, including the coach, was sick of it by the time the whole thing blew up.
Like that's better for the team.
How do you?
You know what I mean?
How would you use analytics?
What lineups work good together?
Okay.
Well, lineups work good together.
Plus minuses and all that type of stuff.
That, but and like if this person, Mikal Bridges, if he plays this many minutes, how's his production?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Not about, what we should do and all that stuff, because at the end of the day, in playoffs, all that shit is out the window. It's whoever makes shots and whatever. I don't care if it's a 2 or a 3. It's who can, because we already know your plays.
Of course.
We know what you about to do. It's like what player you get the ball to, they supposed to be able to get the shots off and get the ball to the right person. That's what playoff basketball is about. That's why they're not scoring 130 points. They're scoring 90, 100, and maybe 110 in the playoffs if it's a blowout. You know what I'm saying? That's why all that shit gets cut down.
I have another addition. I want to add on to that. Because of that, when it comes to the actual analytics of the game, they're missing a field for the game, right? It's missing a field. The way you use analytics, is to his point, is load management. And I know it's a negative connotation around load management, but you use that for load management. You use that to say, yo, Mikal, you're low, you know what I mean? You at your peak when it comes to your load management. Like, we got to start dumbing it down. We got to figure out how we going to bring your numbers back down. Those are analytics. Analytics on guys who, you talk about the middle of the draft, right? The middle of the pack guys, and not talent-wise, but just it's a lot more people in the middle of the pack than it is up top. So the middle of the pack, when it comes to that, that's when you use the analytics, because it's very similar around here.
Carmelo's 100% right. What happens when the top end of that spectrum, the players at the very tippy top, start to have their numbers go down? They're not as proficient. They're beginning to age out. A lot of those issues are exactly what played out for Melo at the end of his career. Also, the style of play with the league started to change. More spacing, more three-point shooting. Could Melo defend in that spacing? No. While at the same time, his open mid-range shots, even the shots that he likes to take, are not going down. So that's the conundrum that he pretty much had.
Who can shoot? I need a corner three-pointer from the right corner. Who is that guy within these analytics that I can go to that has the best percentage at shooting from the right corner? That's how you use the analytics. A lot of times you can't use analytics with guys who have 75, 80, 85% of control of the basketball. Right? When you shooting 20-something times, you can't use analytics.
No.
Because you can't garner what is effective and what's not effective unless you actually saw the game.
It's taking the creativity from
Absolutely.
the player.
So if I score 40 points in the game and it looks 2-4 or 6-4, whatever, at the end of the day, you wasn't there to tell me how the flow of the game was happening. Was you double teamed? What was happening? Where you missed the shots from? What was the attention to details on you? What was the defensive strategy? Analytics can't take that, can't give you that. So it takes the emotional aspect out of it. The fact that you took these analytics from last year and saw what worked and what didn't work from a numbers standpoint, and you brought that into this year, which is why you were able to see the graph and say, but you have the whole summer to come up with ways on how we actually going to do this.
Analytics in a way will always be reactionary too, based off of what the current era is doing. So if you have the next generation of players all coming in 7 feet, chucking up threes, getting 8 assists a game, playing like Jokic, the analytics are always going to be looking different and they're always going to be behind. It's really based off of what the generation of kids are doing right now on the court.
What is our system?
I think about it the way baseball players think about it, right? Analytics is super beneficial for baseball players. You still need that old dude who can pick up the grass and taste it and be like,
so this
we need a left-hander right there.
This then becomes the segue question. Do y'all think it'll swing back? Because if we look at Boston, currently the reigning champs, they play the numbers games when it comes to their threes.
Yes.
But the idea that every team looks very similar, true. The creativity is has been minimized in the game, true. Nobody wants to play in the mid-range, although I think about DeMar and Kawhi, like guys that are still managing to be very effective in doing.
That's the narrative right there. The top players in the league are still playing at the mid-range. Kevin Durant, SGA, Jokic, they're all mid-range. You see, with the floor being so spaced out, now the mid-range shot makes more sense than ever, especially for the guys that are proficient at it.
But do we think that the pendulum will swing back to pure basketball, if I may?
No.
No.
Because the analytics is just going to keep getting better and smarter and smarter and smarter and smarter. So whereas though the front office is not going to have to do any work anymore.
Yeah.
It's going to tell.
But y'all just said that's surface to a degree. Honestly, Melo, for all that analytics they tried to put on y'all, it didn't work.
It didn't work.
Right, it doesn't work. So to that point, it's not going to swing back because of just analytics. And the more smarter it gets, the more people is going to get smarter to utilize it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So it's still going to get the connectivity, the connection. The human connection is going to continue to be further and further away when it comes to the game and the feel of basketball.
Yeah.
It sounds
Now,
terrible.
what that does is it does come back on the flip side. It does come back. That's why in the playoffs, the game is what? Slowed down.
Okay.
Yep. The playoffs is really where those analytics go out the door because it doesn't factor in the mental side of the game, the pressure, the big moments. A guy may be a great analytical player during the regular season, but under a lot of pressure in the playoffs, just those high pressurized moments, he could fold, i.e. James Harden. And another player off the top of my head I can give is, I believe his name was Harris, that three-point shooter that was in the Brooklyn Nets that had won that competition, I think maybe 2 years in a row, or he just won it once or whatever, but he had a bad playoffs and he pretty much disappeared off the face of the earth after that. And that's something that doesn't get talked about too much. Sometimes guys have bad moments in the playoffs and it affects the rest of their career. That's how pressurized those moments could really be. So there's nothing from the analytical department that could ever quantify that shit.
What happens in the playoffs? Take the best shot that they give you. It ain't so much emphasis on shooting 40, 53s. Like, if that's what you do, that's what you do. But at the end of the day, you got to have somebody in there to get to those spots that nobody could get to. And it's not a lot of people who can actually navigate in those little small spots, which is why Shea is so effective today.
Ooh, yeah, here's a good one. Yeah.
Shea is very effective. He's taking the shot that they giving him. He's not overthinking the shit. If they back up, go under the three, I'm pulling. If they send me left, I'm going left. They send me right, I'm going right. They give me a layup, I'm going. They give me a floater, I'm taking. They give me a pull up, and that's a basketball player.
Yeah.
Facts. But also with SGA, we got to factor in, he's a two-way player. The defense he played in the finals, his decision making on what shots not to take and to get his teammates more involved in the game. That's really the big difference. And for guys like Melo and Rudy Gay who are not known to be defenders and they're just pretty much average shooters even from the mid-range, the way the game evolved in the mid-2010s to what it is now, it really hurts guys like that.
You can't take away somebody like the essence of basketball. Take the best shot that's given. If it's a three, it's a three. Now I understand on the flip side, to Boston's point, a three is a three. If now we a great shooting 3-point team, then we want to get the most. We want to shoot a lot.
Yeah,
of
but
threes.
that's
And going to Boston, they can play like that because they have players that defend and do everything else. During their championship run, they have multiple players who were making great decisions, not only attacking closeouts with their passing ability, their shooting ability, or just their on-court awareness of what play to make. That was a rarity, and that was also what made that team so great. Even the guys off the bench could do the same. Sam Hauser, Pritchard, Lou Cornett, Al Horford. Those guys were killing it with the passing, the shooting, just the overall decision-making was A1.
Now we a great shooting 3-point team, then we want to get the most. We want to shoot a lot.
yeah,
of
but
threes.
that's them. So you coming into your meeting with your organization and saying, all right, analytics team, show me what you got.
Yes.
What are you going to do with that paper? This is effective or this is not effective?
I'm going to observe it. I'm going to analyze it and see what I want out of there to be effective. What I want to utilize that's effective out of there that's going to enhance my situation.
Yeah.
All right.
I feel like analytics should not be in a conversation unless you are a team that's competing. Because other than that, we are building your basketball culture as a pro.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Because the Wizards, you need to rip up them analytics.
The Wizards, we ain't bringing up.
Yo, Monica McNutt brings up a great point right there. Yeah, the shitty teams in the league, they should not be using that. But in a way, analytics is one of the many tools in the overall arsenal you should be using. But it shouldn't be the main and only tool.
I ain't bringing analytics in. That is all I test. I got to trust who I put in those seats to put this team together to say, look, We have to go build the best team that we could possibly build with our salary cap, with our assets and what we can do. This is all eye test and feel. This ain't no analytics shit, right? Analytics got you where you at right now.
Yeah.
Bingo.
Honestly,
This is real eye test and putting real basketball heads in there and putting real people in there who understands the game. Monumental Sports will have their business and that's what they do. They got there for a reason. But now the basketball guys got to come in and really figure this shit out.
You gotta play ball, yo.
You gotta play ball. You gotta pay to play in a sense, not just money, but you gotta pay to play. You know what I mean?
So it is what it is. This was a great discussion. Two players in Carmelo Anthony and Rudy Gay who were influenced not only from Michael Jordan, but from a lot of the players from the early 2000s. Guys like T-Mac, Vince Carter, Steve Francis, Stephon Marbury, Paul Pierce, etc., etc. And a lot of those influences really stem from what Michael Jordan was doing at the wing position in the 90s. Is that unfortunate from the NBA, a lot of the players that followed were not as efficient, and the game being so physical at the time, it didn't equal out to a great television product for the fans. But hey, the game will always continue to evolve because it only takes one crop, one good draft class to completely change the play style from decade to decade.